So you have an injury at work, you get some treatment, you go to a QME, the QME says you are permanent and stationary. Life is good, you go back to work and you have a new injury at the same employer. So same place where you were injured, let's say a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, a new injury. What happens now? It depends. It depends on so many factors, but let's say hypothetically you injured your knee 2 years ago. The QME says you're permanent and stationary, you go back to work and you have an injury to your shoulder. It's generally going to be treated as a completely separate injury. So if your knee is permanent and stationary, you've gone back to work, you can settle that knee claim with the insurance company. Enter into stipulations with request for award, future medical care stays open, everything with the knee is resolved. You can keep going to the doctor if you need be, but the shoulder is going to be a brand new injury. So the shoulder will entitle you potentially to up to 2 more years of temporary disability, because you can get temporary disability for 2 years for an injury, and they're completely separate injuries. 2 years potentially for the knee, up to 2 years for the shoulder. So that is one issue, temporary disability. Permanent disability will generally be completely separate. So 2 completely separate injuries, different parts of the body. Those permanent disability awards don't get combined together. You'll have one for the knee, you'll have one for the shoulder. So if you've gone to a QME for the knee, that injury is already being addressed, even if it hasn't settled yet, then you have a new injury to the shoulder, that does entitle you to a new QME. That's because the QME that addressed your knee did so when the shoulder injury hadn't taken place yet. There hadn't been a claim filed for that shoulder injury. So then you go back to work, you injure your shoulder, that's a new QME is going to address the shoulder injury because there had been no claim filed at the time of the exam with the knee QME. So you're going to have a new QME. So if you end up resolving the claims with stipulations, you go back to work, you're going to have one set of stips for the knee, you're going to have one set of stips for the shoulder. 2 separate settlements. If you don't go back to that employer, let's say there's permanent work restrictions so you can't go back to work, or you don't like it there, you quit that job and you're not going back. You can settle both the knee and the shoulder injury at the same time with a compromise and release, wrap both of them up together. The insurance company likes that. They can get rid of 2 files at once. You like it because you can settle out both injuries and get a lump sum payment. That's an option with a compromise and release if you're no longer there. But generally, separate injuries, if you have an injury, you see a QME, you go back to work at the same employer and you have a new injury, it'll be treated as a completely separate injury. New QME, new temporary disability, new permanent disability, completely separate injury. Of course, every case is unique. And if you have multiple dates of injury, I really recommend reaching out to the Information and Assistance Officer at your WCAB office or to a local attorney for a consultation, because the facts of every case are different and your case is very different from the very general information I'm trying to give here. But if you found this video helpful, hit the like button down below.